But you know what? We're going to get things started a little different, man. Mr. D. Bonner, I need you to start things off today. What's on your mind?
You know what, T? It's first off, good seeing you. And this is a subject. You know what? I've been to plenty of weddings and also plenty of receptions, right? But lately, down in Florida, I saw something new that I've never seen before.
Okay, what you see?
You know what? We had a bride who, basically backed it up on her husband, to give him a little lap dance. But the thing about it, she wasn't fully dressed. Her back was exposed, her hips were out, her bridesmaids were twerking. And my whole thought was, what's a pastor supposed to do? I just officiated the wedding.
Okay, okay.
I'm eating my mashed potatoes and salmon, then I see that,
Right.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
I want to do this. I want to toss this right away to Krista, right? Because I just want to know from a male perspective, what should I do?
I don't know. Especially as a pastor, if I was in that position, if I was me, I probably would leave the room. Because I feel like, that's her husband. Of course, they gonna do what they're gonna do. But I don't think that it should have been in public like that. Some stuff should be kept behind closed doors, especially at a wedding where I'm not sure if it was kids there, but sometimes it's kids like the flower girls and the little boy, I forgot what it's
Ring
called.
bearer.
The ring bearer, yeah. So if it's kids there or like you said, pastors, their grandmother and parents, like I said, some stuff should just be kept behind closed doors.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And how about you, Heath? What you thinking?
So I've been to weddings where there was some manner and sort of shenanigans.
Okay.
Never the likes of the video that you sent, where she was twerking in a thong.
Yeah.
And not only did she have on a thong, but her dress was completely off. She had like almost an apron covering the front of her bodice and down in front of her thigh. It was about thigh level. But all the sides were out. There was no side. So you saw side boob, all the waist, the hip, the thigh.
You saw more than enough.
You saw a sufficient amount.
Yes.
And I was like, and she was thick. And she was attractive. So if I were there, I'm taking that L. I'm taking that L today. I'll just look at my wife and be like, I'm sorry. But, I didn't come here for this.
Yeah.
But this is just what happens.
Yeah.
And I'll have to repent later because she was thick. She was thickums. The thickery was thicking.
Yeah.
And so even though it was inappropriate, and see, that's why the Bible says you should dress modestly, women.
Yeah.
Because you don't want to cause somebody to stumble. I fell down a cliff that day. I would have fallen down a cliff that day. Because don't blame me for admiring what, she has obviously worked on. Now, so I think she also might have been a stripper because you were very comfortable in a room full of family and friends, exposing your entire body
That's a great point.
to people. That seemed very comfortable for her. I don't know.
Yeah, Thomas, chime in.
Look, how would I have approached this as a man of God? Is that before or after the ones magically appeared in my hand?
Yeah.
My other question, because when put in that type of situation, and there are some of us that struggle with those types of situations, so we do our best to stay away from them.
Yeah.
So when you are hit with whoa, this totally came out of left field, you weren't expecting this, I say the best thing you could do is run. To get up out of that situation. Yeah. But sometimes you saw what you saw and the damage has already been done.
Yeah.
And as soon as it passed by your peripheral and you got enough of it to say a statement in your mind, like, oh, I should leave, and oh, I should leave it. Man, she thick is the same length.
Yeah.
It's the same amount of trouble. Yeah. So my problem with the situation is now you put me as the husband in a precarious situation.
Yeah.
Because now you put me in a place where people couldn't say things about you as my wife that now I have to defend.
Yeah.
And some people just they're looking for a reason to talk bad about your spouse.
Absolutely.
Now you've given them as much ammunition as they need. And the last thing I really need is my boy, Heath, seeing everything that I got.
That was what I was thinking.
That I got
same.
everything that I got going on at the house.
And you saw everything.
And the other thing was, what was the point of it?
Yeah.
What was the point for everybody to see it?
I mean, save that for later on that
Yeah,
night.
like
That's
if
what I said.
you
Everything.
taking care of business
Yeah.
at the house,
Yeah.
that's fine. And nobody needs to know any detail of it.
Right.
But for you to put it out for public consumption, you
And
Yeah.
I feel like that is just ghetto, if you ask me. And
Okay.
it's very
okay.
I feel like it's very classless. Like that is not that would not be a classy wedding reception, in my opinion. If I was a guest there, I would probably be embarrassed for her because, like I said, you have your grandparents, your mom, like all sides of the family is looking at that, and they like, well, you don't leave nothing to the imagination.
Yep.
And then, like, to piggyback off of what he said, as a man if you as a man being put in that situation, you looking at the lady like, oh man, like, what's next?
Yeah. I think because, well, one, to your point, Thomas, I would feel very uncomfortable with my boys seeing basically everything that my wife has, and they're like, "Yo, you wife."
yeah.
And Heath, you hit it because I zoomed in on the video, not just to kind of look at the other people, right? And there's a guy standing right there with his phone taking
Absolutely.
the video. He's getting every bit of it.
Yeah.
And he's got that for
Yeah.
however
It's
long
yes.
he has
And
that.
I think low key that top, that front bodice she had on was low key see through.
Yeah.
Because I could see the light pass through the garment at the angle of just the camera angle that the person who posted it had. So if I could see the light from a far distance, if I'm up close, I'm seeing shaded hues.
Yes, because the light just simply touched the hem of that garment, and you saw all of that. Something else I wanted to add with that. Are we being a little more harsh on her? Because I understand that what she did was over the top. And of course, for a trailblazer, everything seems to be a little, okay, it's reckless. But we as men can go a little overboard at particular sections of, when we got to go get that garter. I've seen men whole heads
True.
go up under that dress and disappear and simulate whatever. I've seen guys get all the way on the floor. I've never seen a man take off his clothes just to get at that garter. But I've seen us do things.
I mean, it's two different
and
things.
rarely do I hear the same comments towards guys.
It's two
saying
I
Yeah.
feel like I agree with Heath. That's two
two
different.
two totally
I
different
think,
things.
Yeah, I don't
bucket.
think it's no comparison
bucket naked.
there.
Yeah.
Out there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hold on,
and then
she had a drape of some sort.
Yeah, but you bucket naked.
Yeah.
And it was loosely flapping.
as like Thomas said, like if a guy goes up a lady's dress or whatever, we can't see how far. Like he probably, most wedding dresses are long and big or whatever.
Yeah.
And you can't see how far they actually going up, so you don't know if he's going all the way up or he probably just stop at her knees or whatever.
Yeah.
So I don't think that's a comparison.
Okay.
So
Yo,
let me throw this
Kristen.
out to the fellas.
Right. Well, hope they stop at the knees.
Let me throw this last comment out to the fellas. Now, if normally when I'm at a wedding, when the garter belt or something like that is happening, or the husband comes down and the wife is going to do whatever, I don't go up front to get a close view of the dancing or whatever's going to happen, because I just don't want to see that.
Yeah.
I'm not there for that at that point. But then I think she made an appearance. It seemed like she was coming from the back or coming from the front, of where if you would have been in your seat and you saw that she was dressed as clad as she was, and you saw cheeks and skin where you would normally not see skin, would you have left your seat and gone up to get a closer view?
No.
Yeah.
No, my mind is saying no. My feet are saying, hey, what's going on? But my mind and the fact that I know that I'm a married man, no.
Yeah.
I can't afford to take that L. Because that L rings harder at home when nobody else is there. And when she got weapons in her hands and we don't know what's gonna happen or where the body gonna go. Some things just ain't worth it. You know, I'm a man of a particular age. I've seen enough naked bodies in my lifetime where if I didn't see that one more, I wasn't gonna miss anything. But this, you just gotta, man. I don't understand.
What
don't
about you, David?
Understand her realm of thinking.
Yeah, and with me, it you know, the male side of
has to
me.
be.
Yeah, that's
Yes.
it. I would have saw it at a glance, but turned my head because what's at stake is my reputation too, because people
That's
are watching
true.
me.
That's true.
And then in my mind, I'm thinking this is really indecent. You know, there gets a point where in our world we push the envelope, we cross that line, and from where I sit, I know me, I would have turned away. Just like if I see a woman that's dressed indecently or something that's inappropriate, you know, even from a church when I'm in a pulpit, there are times when you see things, I'll turn my head and not
Yeah,
look.
that's true.
And that's a discipline.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I do that too. I do not look intentionally at people especially at church. When we were in church, I would sit on the front row.
You here. I'm gonna pray for her. Lord, please.
I would intentionally sit in the front row or the second row because I don't want to see what's going on behind me. And we got a large church, so there's times when people come up for prayer. I'm like, I keep my head down.
Yeah. Yes.
That's real.
Yes.
You have to be honest about that.
Yes, as a man in church who spoke from the front plenty of times, the things you see and the things you see coming at you and looking at you, it is all a distraction. And some stuff is extremely inappropriate.
I remember one time. Oh, go ahead, Krista.
I wasn't gonna say anything.
Oh, I remember one time I got shook. I was a deacon, and we were doing a baptismal, and they had you wear all white for the baptismal. And this woman had a white T-shirt on, bra, white jeans, and some undergarments. And she went down and came up. I was like, whoa.
Yeah.
And I had to turn my head because I was like, I didn't know she was built like that underneath those outfits. But I was like, I looked at her different ever since. And from that moment on, I said I would never do another baptism with a woman present because I can't afford it.
Yeah. And that's real.
And your strength is needed with the men.
Yeah.
Some of them brothers don't get about that water easy. I've been on the wrong end of that. It's rough.
No, but you know what? I said all that to say moderation is important. It's important. And, I think, too, in this case, the male husband, if you see your wife coming, at some point, what's inside of you to let everybody see what belongs to you, what's sacred to you? And you know what? I just want to toss this now over to Thomas.
Hey, you know what? Thank you, David. Because this next part right here that we want to talk about, that I definitely wanted to bring to you, this is going to be more of a crystal focused kind of conversation because she is our resident woman here today.